When two beautiful people fall in love on our screens, we can't help but ship them in real life too. But what happens when that fairy tale romance crashes and burns harder than an Hollywood movie budget? Enter Maurice Sam and Pearl Watts, the couple that had us all believing in love again, only to serve us the kind of heartbreak that makes you question everything you thought you knew about relationships. Their story isn't just another celebrity breakup, it's a masterclass in how quickly public adoration can turn into a full-blown scandal that has the entire entertainment industry picking sides. Maurice Sam and Pearl Watts weren't just another co-star pairing that fans randomly decided to obsess over. These two had the kind of chemistry that made you forget you were watching a movie and start believing you were witnessing real love unfold before your eyes. Their on-screen romance was so convincing that even the most cynical viewers found themselves rooting for their characters to end up together. But it wasn't just their acting that had people talking, their behind-the-scenes interactions, the way they looked at each other during interviews, and their social media posts had fans convinced that art was definitely imitating life. They seemed to complement each other perfectly, with Pearl's gentle elegance balancing Maurice's charismatic energy in a way that felt almost too good to be true. The anticipation was killing everyone, and by everyone, I mean literally every Nollywood fan who had invested their emotions in this relationship. Social media was buzzing with engagement predictions, wedding planners were probably already designing mood boards in their heads, and fans were placing bets on when Maurice would finally pop the question. The signs seemed to be everywhere, cryptic posts about forever, matching outfits at events, and that look in their eyes that screamed, "We're planning our future together." Entertainment blogs were running countdown clocks, and every public appearance they made together was analyzed frame by frame for hints of an impending proposal. The pressure was mounting, the expectations were sky high, and everyone was just waiting for that magical moment when Maurice would get down on one knee and make it official. But then came the plot twist that nobody saw coming. Maurice Sam didn't marry Pearl Watts. Not only did he not marry her, but their entire relationship seemed to evaporate into thin air faster than your data when you forget to turn off your Wi-Fi. The silence was deafening, the absence of wedding announcements was glaring, and fans were left staring at their screens wondering if they had imagined the entire romance. It was like watching a movie where the hero suddenly disappears in the final act, leaving everyone in the theater shouting, "But what about the happy ending?" The shock rippled through social media like wildfire, with fans demanding explanations and creating conspiracy theories about what could have possibly gone wrong between two people who seemed destined for each other. The internet detectives went into overdrive trying to figure out why Maurice couldn't commit to the woman who seemed perfect for him. Some pointed to his ambitious nature, suggesting that marriage would somehow dim his rising star power in Nollywood. Others whispered about his reputation as someone who prioritized his career above everything else, including love. But many fans weren't buying these excuses, calling them weak justifications for what they saw as commitment phobia. The speculation ranged from reasonable to ridiculous. Was he afraid of settling down? Did he have trust issues? Was he secretly still hung up on an ex? The theories multiplied faster than comments on a controversial Instagram post, and none of them painted Maurice in a particularly flattering light. Pearl Watts became the unofficial poster child for women everywhere who have ever been strung along by someone who couldn't make up their mind about commitment. Fans rallied around her like she was their personal friend who had just been dumped via text message. The sympathy was overwhelming, with people praising her grace under pressure and condemning Maurice for allegedly wasting her time and emotional investment. Social media became a battlefield of Pearl supporters who saw her as a victim of modern dating culture where men refused to grow up and take relationships seriously. The narrative painted her as the woman who gave her all to someone who couldn't appreciate what he had, and the public ate it up like the latest gossip about their favorite celebrity couple. Of course, not everyone was ready to throw Maurice under the bus without a fair trial. His defenders emerged from the woodwork, arguing that nobody should be pressured into marriage just because the public expects it. They pointed out that it takes two people to make a relationship work and that maybe, just maybe, things weren't as perfect behind closed doors as they appeared on social media. These supporters insisted that Maurice had every right to choose his own timeline for major life decisions and that forcing someone into marriage rarely leads to happiness for anyone involved. They questioned whether Pearl herself was completely innocent in whatever drama had unfolded between them, suggesting that there might be more to the story than what the public could see. Just when everyone thought the drama couldn't get any juicier, Sonia Uche's name started floating around like a piece of gossip that refuses to die. Suddenly, People were analyzing every interaction between Maurice and Sonia, looking for clues about whether their professional chemistry had crossed into personal territory. The timing seemed suspicious to many observers. Was this a case of Maurice moving on quickly, or had something been brewing while he was still with Pearl? Sonia found herself thrust into the middle of a controversy she may or may not have had anything to do with, but the court of public opinion doesn't always wait for facts before passing judgment. The speculation about their relationship added another layer to an already complicated situation. The double standards in how society reacted to this whole situation were more obvious than a bad week in a period drama. While Maurice was criticized for not committing, he was also quietly admired by some for keeping his options open and focusing on his career. Pearl, meanwhile, faced subtle blame for waiting too long and not giving Maurice an ultimatum sooner. It's the same old story. When a relationship doesn't work out, society finds a way to blame the woman for either being too demanding or not demanding enough, while the man gets a pass for being complicated or not ready. The hypocrisy was so thick you could cut it with a knife, but it perfectly illustrated how gender bias plays out even in celebrity relationships that have nothing to do with our actual lives. Some industry insiders suggested that Maurice's hesitation to commit might have been a calculated career move designed to maintain his appeal as Nollywood's eligible bachelor. After all, there's something to be said for the marketing power of being seen as available and desirable to female fans. Marriage, they argued, might have boxed him into a different type of role both on screen and in the public eye. But this cold, business-like approach to love didn't sit well with fans who had invested emotionally in his relationship with Pearl. The idea that someone would sacrifice genuine love for career advancement struck many as particularly heartless, even in an industry known for its strategic relationships and carefully crafted public images. The saga of Maurice Sam and Pearl Watts continues to fascinate and frustrate fans who can't seem to let go of what might have been. Maurice's continued silence on the matter only adds fuel to the fire, with many interpreting his refusal to explain as evidence that he has something to hide. Meanwhile, Pearl has moved on with dignity, and Sonia continues to navigate the unwanted attention that comes with being linked to someone else's drama. This whole situation serves as a reminder that celebrity relationships are far more complicated than they appear on social media, and that sometimes the love stories we root for the hardest are the ones that were never meant to have a happy ending. What do you think really happened between Maurice and Pearl? Was he wrong to walk away, or does everyone deserve the right to choose their own path, even if it disappoints the people rooting for them? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's keep this conversation going, because clearly, we are all still not over this drama.